Hello, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Welcome to 2024, the month of August. There is a big focus in this month ahead on your financial resources. It's got a bit of grit, but it's also got a happy ending. We're going to talk about you, money, resources, possessions, and savings as a highlight of August of 2024. You may also have some unexpected travel opportunities that delight you showing up by the time we reach the end of this month. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian, and I am using the Western Tropical Zodiac whole sign houses. I add fixed stars and minor asteroids to my videos every month for other content besides this. So if you like that kind of all signs content with a lot of esoteric detail, please come aboard, like, subscribe, because I'm here to help you time your best life, basically using astrology as a navigational tool. We like to go with the flow, not against it. So one of the things I want to say as well, just to quickly let you know, if you're into learning astrology and you want to do your own chart readings and predict your own future, please jump aboard my Sky Reader class. It's 6 weeks long. It starts in September. It's the fifth time I've taught it. It's live. You're with me. We have a weekly coaching calls. If you have a Facebook group, it's very interactive. And that course is starting mid-September. And the wait list is below. What that wait list is in my description box under the more is that when the doors open for enrollment, you will be getting early notice, including the early bird discount that occurs when you're on that wait list. So if you want to learn astrology with me and you get to keep that content forever, even after the class is done, it's yours. Please jump on in, and I'd love to see you in the fall. Alrighty, now let's get talking astrology. So first of all, okay, I'm recording this on July the 20th for my Patreon community who gets early access ad-free. Because of the internet outage and the whole thing that was down here, my internet was out yesterday. I'm a little behind the schedule, but let's get talking about what's going on for you in this month ahead of August. First of all, Cancers, you can listen for your sun, career and purpose, your moon, home, nest, body, and you can listen to your sign, rising sign, right? I always tell people listen for all three. So go through each of my videos that I put out and see what resonates the most for you. So first of all, Cancer, let's talk about what the main story is, in my humble opinion, for you this month. We do have two lunations that are happening on the axis of money, your second whole sign house and eighth whole sign house. We'll talk about that in a minute. So there's a lot of activation about resources, money, finances, possessions, and financial wellness, basically. You may also be very focused on dietary style. One of the biggest things that I think I need to talk about is the fact that you're going to have the planet Venus moving in a place in the sky that is called your third house. The third house is trips and travel, journeys and siblings, and she's moving there from August the 5th. All right. Oh, I should have told you, I'm a little jet lagged. We're covering where the planets are going, and then we're breaking it down into the dates that things are happening. So with Venus moving through your sky, moving through your third house, sextiling you, you like this, it happens every year. She's in Virgo. She's looking back at her shoulder at 2 houses away from your Cancer rising. So therefore, August the 5th through to the end of her transit, the 29th, is going to feel like there's some positive energy going on in the part of your chart that you recognize as your neighbors and neighborhood, your daily, everyday life and what you're doing in it, where you go every day, your office, your stores, or your shops. But also, this is a travel place. And so when Venus is here, she has the pleasure of travel. And you may not think you're traveling, but at the end of the month, there's a little surprise in the bottom of that Cracker Jack box. And some of you may take a short distance trip or plan one by the end of this month. Other things that happen here is siblings, especially younger, but siblings in general can belong to the third house. And when Venus is going through this part of your sky, siblings become prioritized. And you're also able, because of this transit, to enjoy people around you, the cousins, the aunts, the uncles, the nieces and nephews. There's just a sense of convivial enjoyment of the social part of those relationships. Now, one of the pieces of the third house is if you're a writer, and of course Virgo is the sign of the writer. When Venus is down here as a goddess of the arts, this is a time, August 5th to the 29th, to really move into a connection to your muse and to really allow for some Venusian precision in Virgo to craft that writing or craft that communications project. Ideal time as well to set up a shopping cart ramp for promoting something online. It's also really good for up-leveling your presence on social media platforms in that third house energy. Finally, if you something you always wanted to learn or teach, and as a skill-based learning or teaching, you thought, oh, maybe I want to learn that skill or I want to teach that skill, Venus in here says good going, yes, and we're lucky when we do it. Yay, you. What else is happening in the sky? Mars has been moving through the sign of Gemini since the third week of July, and he is now coming into contact with Mars. Now, the thing about that is that with Jupiter, Mars and Jupiter last joined together in Gemini in 1989. So it's relatively rare. And in this regard, you can look for past storylines of you living through 1989, what was going on, because Mars and Jupiter together can be commander in chief, bold and courageous, bombastic, big yes, capital Y-E-S energy. But where Gemini is for you as Mars continues to move through this part of your chart until early September is your 12th house. And it's a very subtle place. You may feel like it's on the tip of your brain, it's your dreams at night, it's your past life memories, should you have them, it's your spiritual quest for liberation and truth. But it's also foreign and far off places, especially ones where you do barter and trade. In our modern digital world, we often have many people who make money online, and there's nothing, this energy can be Mars driven, passionate, and focused. Earnings, Jupiter expanding for borderless revenue or international income. And that presence is there through the whole month of August. With Jupiter, it just gets bigger or larger than life. Now, if you have some kind of self-undoing, sabotaging bad habit or addiction, Mars likes to sever and cut, and it makes it a very easy time for you during the month of August to do this, and you'll be able to let go. Jupiter is the teacher, the wisdom and the truth, or the guru, or the guide, or somebody, or some learning that can help you let go of those things that are no longer needed in your life, that really undo you in some way. All right. The hospitals and the insane asylums and the prisons are all 12th house matters. Mars here could lead to somebody being in a hospital for some time during the month of August. Just need you to know that that is a possibility. And aunt, uncle, cousin, niece, nephew, and younger sibling are all in the potential difficult window of August timeframe, indicating especially females of those ilks, females in your extended family may incur some hospitalization moment. It is possible, not probable, but it doesn't mean, super bad things are going to happen. Just keeping that possibility open for you in case, it does occur. What else is going on? And by the way, the Jupiter Mars conjunction is in the middle of August, and we'll break that down in detail in a second. What else is happening in the sky? We talked about Mars and Venus and Jupiter, of course, who's giving you that 12th house energy till next year. So all things 12th house are super highlighted for you through to June of next year. Honestly, it's great for finances if you make money online, but it's also great for spiritual awakening and quests, and even going off to an ashram or finding a spiritual teacher, especially with Saturn in your 9th house of God. That's true until next summer. The other thing I would mention to you is the idea of Mercury's very complicated journey in the month of August because of a retrogradation. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to break it down. Mercury is spending some time in Leo, your second house of earnings, resources, possessions, and also things that you ingest through your mouth, and some time in your third house of siblings, travel, and all the other delineations I've already given you. Well, this is going to sort of bifurcate his attention, but the key point I want to make is retrogradation. He will be stationing retrograde on August the 5th. And as he does that at 4 degrees of Virgo in your third house of journeys, travel, siblings, learning, skills-based, some things from your past begin to show up. Connections from extended family members from your past, emails, phone calls, traveling back to a place you've been before, learning something you've already learned before, teaching something you've taught before, begins to be apparently true August the 5th through to the August 15th window. And you may not have expected to travel. That's a possibility. Just keep that in mind, because we have a bit of a Uranus whole sign trine going on, like, oh, I'm traveling. How unexpected is that? And then Mercury slides on the 15th of the month of August backwards through to the 29th before he goes direct. He's sliding backwards in your savings, resources house, and also things that you ingest through your face. Well, as he's going backwards, things from the past tend to emerge. Also, synchronicity can increase, but financial issues from your past return, dietary styles are re-encountered, I used to be vegan, I'm going to try it again. You'll go back, and especially in his backward motion through your second house, August 15th to the 29th, he goes back to the 21st degree there. If you have been wanting to let go of some kind of dietary habit or some kind of habit that involves the nose or the mouth, this could be you going back to address it fully. And with Mercury, it can be things to do with learning. Finally, Mercury is like marketing, merchandise, and selling, markets and mercantile in a money house. When he's going backwards, you may reassess a purchase or sale of something. You may have wanted to buy or possess that car, but the deal fell through, or you may, return something that you've purchased, or you may rethink something that you wish to buy. That kind of energy is very dominant for you, August the 15th through to the 29th, especially when it comes to land, property, and real estate. You have that south node going through your fourth house with Juno, the goddess of contracts. There may be renegotiations of contracts about objects and possessions in and from and about your home, but also of your home. There's definitely a high possibility that Cancer rising and Cancer moon people may indeed sell a property, and let go of a home, some land between this conversation now and the spring of 2025. As we move forward, we're next going to address the chronology of the sky. We're going to go through the dates. So get a pen, get a paper. I know I talk pretty fast. That's just my Aries, Mercury, Sun, and Moon stellium. So in the house of communication. So bear with me. August the 2nd starts out with a Venus square Uranus. And later is also going to be a Mercury square Uranus, both from Leo to Uranus in Taurus. And that's your second house and 11th. The square from Venus is August the 2nd, give or take a day or two. And the square from Mercury, August 18th, 19th. That could be the same story in two separate parts. Well, with Venus, it's some kind of love and money surprise that you weren't expecting. I don't find squares are always negative. People understand that wrongly. It requires decisions and actions. It requires you do something about it. So this energy is coming from the house of gains from your career, your 11th house, the house of an elder sibling, and it's a square to your second house of savings, possessions, financial well-being. So there's a little bit of jolt in that kind of financial story connected to your career, perhaps because of the 10th house activation. It may be surprising and positive. Who knows, right? And one other thing I'd note about that is that you have the goddess Hygeia in your 11th house, and you may have some hygiene or some need to organize or structure your relationship to money and career gains in a new way. Fiscal hygiene. With Pluto traveling through your house of taxes, it may be about tax structures, loans, business loans, etc. And that might be something on your radar in the month of August. Now, what is happening next? It is going to be the Sun sextiling Jupiter. And let me go back a bit. August the 4th, I forgot. August the 4th, a Leo moon at 12 degrees is a beautiful new beginning in your earnings and possessions and money and resources and dietary style connected to the second house. The new moon, as it unfolds in the 2 weeks that follow from August the 4th, may give you clues about the bigger rollout in the 6 months that follow, as every new moon offers a new direction for 6 months. So new directions in the money, earnings, savings, and dietary styles. What I also would say is that right after that moon, we have a beautiful energy where Jupiter, Santa Claus, is flowing to the sun in Leo while he is traveling through the sign of Gemini. Well, basically, this feels positive. You're going to sense something to do with focused purpose, driven vitality, and maybe good energy regarding your resources, and super powerful for a very lucky way of ending any kind of dietary habit or addiction style. That can really be like you find the perfect solution or the dream teacher or the dream guidance for that. Sun in your second house always every year just puts your focus on your resources financially. And because that sun is also in a whole sign flow to the north node in your 10th house, it looks a lot to me like August. There's a lot of focus on glowing up career and earning stories. You're more focused there, but things are moving in a positive way. I really like this for those of you who do international revenue, because if you work for an international company, you have international clients, you work borderless income and all of that, that's really going to be a nice sweet spot for you in the first week of August, where things are beginning to flow. Also, around the 8th of the month, Mercury will move into the next sign, and that is going to be the sign of Virgo. And as he moves there around, he's already there on the 8th, he joins Venus, who's also in Virgo. This is like good news. Venus is goodness and positivity and prosperity and luck and good things happening. And Mercury is in information news energy. Because it's your third house, it's a really ideal time for good news to do with social media projects, a younger sibling, good news to do with travel opportunities. And certainly Mercury is the protector patron of travelers in short distance travel, and Venus is a goddess of pleasure. So you may have some kind of pleasurable travel opportunity, awakening, maybe somewhat unexpectedly, but also if you are into writing, this is positive. Your muse is going to fire up. Mercury is the writing and thinking and communicating energy. It's an ideal time to put something out in social media and maybe expect it to really do well. So I would harness that 8th of the month for sure. You might really get some good juice and good mileage on social media posts during the time of that conjunction. Then we move into the next story. August the 13th through the 16th is when we really feel that intensity of Mars-Jupiter conjunction. And yet it lingers, it continues on, but we're really in the thick of it around the 13th to the 16th in the 12th house. Again, it's probably not about you directly. 12th house, unless it's international revenue or cutting an addiction out kind of thing, can be about other people. And with Jupiter, if someone does end up in a hospital for that time frame, it may not be so bad. The reason I think it could be, better than not is because Jupiter is protective here. The other element that could be going on with that conjunction is there is a kind of an intense moment of time on the 13th to the 16th that must be dealt up in a very practical way as time moves on and we go from the 16th to the 24th of August. And that's because those two come together, but then they square Saturn. And that makes it like the brakes or the slowdown or the caution sign. The yellow light is flashing. And Saturn is flashing a yellow light from the 9th house. Well, visas, travel, passports, educational settings, especially higher educational settings, are on the radar at this time in August. But Saturn wants you to be more cautious and reserved about whatever this big excitement is in the 12th house. And it could literally be about foreign countries because far off shores is a 12th house and so is the 9th house. Legal and court matters, learning opportunities, teaching opportunities are all highlighted, but cautionary notes, Saturn square. And eventually, as we move even further into the month, like we're going to see Venus come into the mix as well. So Venus is going to end up in an opposition here to like a tense aspect to Saturn. Well, everybody's also squaring Mars Jupiter. What a sky. It's a big T square. I'll be doing a whole video on that. And the T square is like, and we're talking about you dealing with this energy August the 18th to, I would put it all the way through from, you're going to really feel it sort of August the 18th to the 24th. This kind of T square is highlighted. And as it's all going on, we have Mercury as well, squaring Uranus. Let me give you some ideas. Some unexpected but positive events may occur that surprise you, but they don't always have to be negative. So in the money axis of your chart, around the 18th and 19th. But we also have that Venus T square happening, opening up some kind of tension here, middle of the month. I'm going to give you the 16th to the 24th for this T square to be really engaged. And you really have some decisions to make. All squares require action and decisions about travel. It really is houses, travel or learning opportunities are on your agenda, and you must look at it squarely. If you are an online digital creator, if you are in social media land or in writing book publishing stories, and that's also at a critical crosshairs moment of decisions and actions that must be taken. Because it involves 12th house matters, some of this may be very deep and soul worky, and especially because houses 9 and 3 can also be very metacosmios, I would say, between the worlds. Some of this could be very much about a spiritual shift within you and not so much about the everyday world. On August the 21st, Venus still moving through the sign of Virgo. I need to put my fan on. Sorry, guys, it's stinking hot in my house. Give me a minute. Venus moving through the sign of Virgo is going to come into a square to Mars, the cosmic lover her counterpart, love, hate, separate, unite. This is always a sizzling energy if you're looking for romance in all the right places. It may burn hot and end, but if you're single, Cancer looking around for love, it's possible around the 21st to 24th of August, you could be taking a trip or traveling and finding yourself engaged in a pretty sizzling, hot, sexy affair, especially with Mars in the house of bed pleasures. Give me a minute. At least opening a window would be an idea for the heat. Okay, yeah, that helps. Some fresh air. And also, because 12th house could be far off lands and Venus is in a travel house, news, information, communications from people in far off lands that are tense and require action and decisions, challenges with a sibling younger and their health, and action plans and decisions, things like that are going on August 21st to the 24th, also with aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews, the whole gamut of those extended family members in the crosshairs of a house that has to do sometimes with illness or hospitals, maybe highlighted here. Sorry, just like astrology is not always super positive. And if you want to educate yourself because you need to learn something, this is learning something that's going to help you release yourself from your own blockages. So there may be a critical turning point moment where you're engaged in some educational prospects and you're like, oh my God, this is the perfect course, the perfect book, the perfect information for me to end this thing that doesn't do me anything, like the sabotaging stories, including addictions. Turning points there, August 21st to the 24th. And we move forward to August the 26th and the 27th, where Venus does a beautiful trine, happy trine to Uranus in your 11th house. This happens on the yearly, but it is a story of positive developments financially, perhaps in terms of career matters, or exciting and positive developments with a friend, elder sibling, or ally, someone who wishes to help you. That's where Uranus is, up in your 11th house with Hygeia, by the way. So again, surprising but positive developments regarding the health of somebody in your life, friend, ally, benefactor, sibling. Venus moving through your third house and this flow to Uranus in your 11th house. And this is in exciting energy. You may have a beautiful and exciting and unexpected opportunity to journey somewhere with a friend, with a social group member, in a group setting, or with an elder sibling. And if you are that person with the online world, digital social media, or writing up things, golden opportunity that surprises you for a creative project or online project that benefits your finances greatly from your career and reputation narratives of your 10th house. Don't forget, you have the North Node moving through there all the way through until January of 2025, expanding your career and reputation matters with those eclipses. The end of the story is August the 29th. Well, that's kind of like the 28th to 29th, just as she's getting ready to slip out of Virgo into your fourth house, which she's in great dignity. That's a September story, really. She's going to look across at Neptune retrograde in your ninth house. It is an oppositional energy, and you may have some oppositional tension between somebody in your local environment, or your siblings or your cousins and uncles, and something that wants to be accomplished in the ninth house, a foreign land travel, a visa application, things to do with higher educational settings. But, with Neptune retrograde, he's letting the tide roll back so you can see where your confusion and delusions lay, or used to, like, you're seeing what's under the water in the ninth house. And a lot of you, whether you know it or not, Neptune has been trying for every Cancer to wake you the hell up spiritually as he moves through the ninth house and flows through to your Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. And so this has been like, can you get more enlightened, unconditionally loving, forgiving, compassion, and awake to what is real and true spiritually? And with Venus at the bottom, the goddess of pleasure, in a sign of her detriment, there may be a really interesting turning point coming for you in the last 2 days. Because, you're trying to enlighten since 2011, in the last 2 days of the story, August, 28th, 29th, 30th, where you're really looking at your life through the lens of pleasure versus joy, temporary satisfaction versus eternal causeless peace. There's some kind of nice vibe at a practical level. Things to do with visas, passports, legal events are going to have a bit of tension at the very end of the month. However, Venus being a benefic and in opposition to Neptune, dreamy possible outcomes from a critical turning point moment in legal matters, book publishing, writing and publishing matters, things to do with podcasting. I often see Venus and Neptune look like you're going to go on a podcast, where you're going to be out there because Neptune rules the videography platforms. And maybe the I thou energy is literally just you and a podcaster interviewer. So there's that energy really picking up. Because there's I thou tension, opposition, it just feels like you need to let Venus flow to you in order to figure out what it needs to be not spoken, what needs to be communicated from your third house in a way that's in alignment with Neptune retrograde. It's not all rainbows and unicorns. It has that Saturnian realism with it, whether you're the one speaking it or being addressed as well. So that weird energy is coming on to your story at the 28th and 29th of August. And I forgot the full moon, and I will address the full moon now. On August the 19th, the moon will be full at 27 degrees of the sign of Aquarius. Now, a full moon in general is about fulfillment. It's lighting up the sky to fulfill or complete something. It's shining a bright light in your eighth house of shared resources, inheritances, taxes, investment monies, long-term, retirement savings that are in investment structures, etc. So there's a full light up here. So sometimes it's completions. You may end something up there. It could also put a full light on your resources you share with a marriage or business partner. And it's connected to the 27th degree. And the 27th degree of Aquarius is also in a square to Uranus at 27 degrees of Taurus, which could bring some unexpected surprises, not only on the full moon, right, of August 19th and 2 weeks that follow, but kind of baking in some unexpected surprises regarding money matters connected to your career gains, 11th house, and matters to do with shared resources with others, loans, bank loans, mortgages, and your partner. Really would say to you that pay attention to what the light is showing you in this hidden house of the eighth. That can include shocking secrets and revelations coming through your story as well, maybe from a friend, an elder sibling, or something connected to your childhood. So there's this kind of, oh, wow, I didn't know that. So you may have a bit of surprise coming on this story from August 19th at a couple of weeks, but also the general feel of that is unexpected surprises in the eighth house can be emergent for the next 6 months after. All right, thanks for listening. And don't forget, oh, and by the way, full moon in the house of that mortgage money, right? With the south node in the fourth house, some of this could actually be positive for you. Lighting up a full moon of fulfillment in a financial space, connecting to the node in the house of real estate. Again, a fulfillment of a goal or dream to purchase or sell a home, for example, in the 6 months after your full moon of August the 19th. All right. Thanks for listening, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Don't forget, if you want to check me out, I'm on Patreon. They get early access, ad-free content all of the time. If you want to take a look at anything else I do, I have a readings wait list. I have my priority pass jump the line. You can grab me on any Monday. There's 2 spots every Monday where you pay a bit of a premium, but you're not on a wait list. And anything else about me is in the description box. Don't forget, Sky Reader is starting. If you want to jump aboard my class, I'm looking forward to teaching a new cohort, a class I've already taught 4 times, and that is Sky Reader, Be Your Own Astrologer. Time your best life. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful month of August.